Thank you so much for turning up. Let's talk a little bit about Matt Elliot's going to take us back to the 90s and those good old days, but let's talk about now and what's going on at the moment. Normally you're asking the questions to people, but I'm going to put you on the spot. This sort of rebuild from Brendan, I think a lot of fans are sort of waiting to see something that happen. What's your sort of take on it? It's sort of a bit slow, or are you patient?
I think if you're waiting, you're going to have to wait a bit longer. There's some rebuild, there's some refresh that Brendan Rodgers is going to go through. It's going to take a bit of time, I think. And the reason is because of excess players. There are too many players to fit into the 25-man squad at the moment. They've got 27, 28 players coming back from loans like Dennis Pratt. So then you need to get those players out. You've got 3 or 4 players maybe to be part of this refresh. You're talking, you've got to get 3 out to get you down to your 25, and then another 3 or 4 as well. So you're looking at 7, 8 players that have got to leave the football club first. And if you can get those out, then soon all of a sudden you might see the funds available. You're able to go out there and sign some of those players. But the problem is, some of these players are getting good money, and they might not want to leave the football club. Some of them got 2 or 3 years left on their deals as well. So it's going to be difficult. It's going to take a bit of time to get those players out before they start being able to bring players in.
I'm going to start with the big one, which is your retirement. Obviously, I think a lot of fans now, and I've sort of got to the point where I don't know what you guys think, but I think the general feeling we get is fans are like, if you're going to go, just sort of go and free up some of those funds. I don't know if that's what people are feeling. Richards has been the star man for us, but do you feel it is? He needs to make his decision and get on with it.
We discussed this literally a couple of hours ago on Football Forum. It's available as a podcast, so download that. But no, essentially the thing with your attendance is that we understand there's been no concrete bids for him coming from any club. This talk of Arsenal, etc. Arsenal not made any offers, neither has Manchester United or any other clubs across Europe and the world. So there will be a time, I suppose, that Leicester might have a cut-off point where they go, if bids don't come in past this point, we're going to have to keep going. But I think what will probably happen is, if he doesn't go by sort of mid to late July, then we'll very quickly see maybe he'll sign a 12-month deal, and then he might go January, sort of in the January transfer window, or maybe next summer as well. The problem is he wants to go, and that's absolutely fine. He's thought about maybe doing a new chapter and looking at change and looking at sort of career options, which is absolutely fine. And I don't think anyone here would say that he can't play for a team in the Champions League, because we've seen at time the quality that he can give, but it's about the team coming in for him. And if he doesn't go this summer, it's a real big incentive, because he might sign a 12-month deal and then all of a sudden he's got the World Cup, and that is the biggest stage of all to go out there and get yourself a move ahead of the January transfer window. So it doesn't look like at this moment he's going to be going anywhere, but he has said he's happy to stay. So.
You're right, you mentioned the World Cup in Qatar in late November and December, which is obviously going to be a great stage for many players, including your returns, whoever it is. James Maddison surely could be in contention there as well. Even the performance in the League of Nations was not brilliant. What does Maddison have to do? Because he statistically was one of the best English attacking midfielders with goals and assists. So what does he have to do to get himself into Gareth's books? Again, that's just not going to happen, do you think?
I don't know what more he can do. I mean, he scored the most goals and assisted the most goals of any other English attacking midfielder, any other English midfielder in the Premier League last season. So if you're not getting selected then, what do you have to do to start getting selected? He's improved his work rate, he's working harder now, defensively tracked, still got work to do, obviously, clearly. But he's getting there, he's becoming a more rounded midfielder. I think it's I don't know whether Gareth Southgate thinks he's got an attitude problem. If he does think he's got that, then I think he should watch him a little bit more in person, in the flesh, because you see he's got that arrogance, he's got that swagger. But if you're a 10 playing in the Premier League, you need to have that swagger, otherwise you're not going to be able to create. You need to believe in yourself that you're going to create something. It's difficult. I don't know what he has to do to get himself in this England squad, but I think the biggest winner from the Nations League and England performances was James Maddison. It's because everything that he possesses, that nous of finding a great pass, that being able to score from free kicks, that bit of magic where you can create something out of anything, that is exactly what England were missing. And also that responsibility. How many times have you seen him, even when Leicester have been playing that well, He never shies away from wanting the ball, he drops in deep, he takes the ball. That was exactly what England needed. No one was doing that. No one wanted to take it sort of on their shoulders, on their mantle. So if he keeps doing that, and he keeps performing at the levels that I think we saw from it, particularly in the back end of last season, there's no reason why he shouldn't be on that plane to the time. And if he isn't on that plane, and he does do all of those things, then I think, I'm sure Leicester fans clearly will do it, but big questions have to be asked if you're not taking it in for the players for a while.
I actually don't think he will go. I don't think he will get picked. I think he's a bit like the Vardy syndrome, where it's just he's done something wrong, not the right sort of cut of the jib for Gareth Southgate. Get your thoughts on Lookman as well. A lot of fans are saying, look, £14 million is sort of his room value. We watched him play for all of last season. A lot, generally, I'd say 70 or 80% of fans are saying we've seen enough to spend that money. But again, is it down to not having the funds to sell players over? And would you bring Lookman in?
If I was Brendan Rodgers, I would. And Brendan Rodgers has said a load of times in press conferences that is a deal that he just want to do. And the fee is £14 million if they do want to go and do that deal. But Brendan stressed that there were other areas of the squad that they need to look at first. So they've got to get these players out, these 6, 7, 8 players, however many it's going to be. They need to replace in the areas that they want, but he wants Brendan Lookman not as a right winger, but as a left winger to provide competition for Harvey Barnes. So you've always got yourself a bit of a predicament. He doesn't want him as a starting player almost, he wants him as competition for Barnes. So it's difficult. I think you go and spend the money regardless, because he's a player who can play, as we saw against Liverpool, just after Christmas, he can play down the middle, he can play on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side, he works hard, he fits into that sort of Brendan Rodgers high-press style. I think you go and spend it. But I'm not sure the club will do that. If they do sort of take that option to buy, that will be, I think, later on in July, August time, when it gets to the end of the transfer window. If they look round and they've got their centre-half, who's a left-footed centre-half, they've got their midfielder, they've got their winger on the right-hand side, if they've got a £14 million left in the purse, I think that's definitely when they'll start looking at it. If they don't, I think Lookman may stay at Leipzig.
One final question for Owen before we bring Matt Elliot in for his live chat. Kasper Schmeichel, again, big fan debate at the moment with Kasper. From my sort of take on him is that he's sort of earned the right maybe to go, like you say, to a team who might play in Europe, maybe Europa League, maybe even Champions League. He sort of hinted last season that he wanted to play in Europe again. What's your sort of take on Kasper and again the rumours that are doing that one?
I don't know. I think we would all agree that Kasper's a great goalkeeper, a great shot stopper. I mean, questions about his distribution will always happen, but it's very rare that you get a goalkeeper who can spray the ball like Edison and Man City and players like that. So it's always going to be difficult to find a goalkeeper who can perform in that way. But on whether he should leave Leicester, I mean, that's a decision for Kasper clearly. But for me personally, you've got to keep him. I think your number one is your captain. And yes, there is a position for a goalkeeper in the squad at the moment. Brendan likes 3 goalkeepers in your 25-man squad, and Kukovic is left. So there is an option to bring a goalkeeper in. Whether this is the time that they go out and they sign someone maybe someone like Nick who's at Burnley relegated, and Mark McGregor currently the England international, he would be a good fit for Leicester. He had definitely a good game at South Moor against the Foxes anyway. I think, as far as Kasper goes, if you are bringing a player like Nick Pope in, then all of a sudden is Kasper number 1. And then you've got Danny Ward, and then is he number 2 or is he number 3? Because if he's number 3, he costs 12 to 15 million pounds. That's an expensive number 3, especially with the wages that he's on as well. So all of a sudden then, you're looking at an extra 1 or 2 players you've got to get rid of, and you might have a total new goalkeeper setup. It would be, I think for now, with this refresh, this rebuild, it's important to get the outfield sorted first. And Kasper Schmeichel, legend as we all know. I think there are other priority areas that they need to get in. 1 goalkeeper already, let alone 2. So I think Kasper Schmeichel stays at the very, very least for this season. I'm not sure how long he's got left on his contract. I think it's another year, 2 years. So there's still plenty of time for him to pick another one of those up. And who knows, if this refresh goes well, and stress on the well, because that is what it needs to do. And Leicester can find themselves back in Europe next season. It might be the Conference League, might be the Europa League, maybe even the Champions League if they can keep their first 11 fit. And if you do that, then Kasper Schmeichel's got his wish, he's got his European football. But he is also getting on, and a replacement does have to come soon. That was a similar conversation we have had about Jamie Vardy as well, and when that conversation has to come, I don't know if no one's looking forward to it, but those conversations are coming.
Thanks, Owen. I guess in Brendan we trust.
For me, definitely. Yeah. For me, definitely. I think that if you look at the managers out there, I think there's another manager that does what he does. And with Leicester, they are a big emphasis on recruiting players and coaching them, making them better, bringing through the youth products through the academy as well. There's no coaches available at this moment in time. I don't think that are able to do that as well as Brendan. He has proved that he's able to get his side to a fifth place finish. Injuries were last season, they're all over the place, and that really hurt us. But I think next season, if you can keep the squad fit, and that is a big if based on their injury problems before, and if they can recruit well in the summer, there's no reason why they can't go and challenge against the hierarchy. Leicester City as a club are always the underdog, and that is something they will play again into next season to go and really try and disrupt those top six and show that it isn't just money that makes up a successful team.
Brilliant. Thanks to Owen, who did start at LeicesterFanTV when it was 100% LCFC many years ago. So we're really proud to see him do everything he does at Radio Leicester, doing the commentary now. And football forums on Mondays 6 till 7 all summer. And the podcast is available on BBC Sounds, all those places. I'm embarrassing now, but thanks so much to Owen for coming and doing that for us tonight. Well, I'm just going to give people in the other room 1 minute to come through from Matt Elliot. But Matty, just before I get you up, Jessica, can I just get you to just come and explain briefly? We're trying to raise some money tonight, as I think a lot of you know. It's a free event, free pizza, free everything. But we're trying to raise a few quid in the raffle for Hope Against Cancer, which is a great charity. Jessica, can you just briefly tell us where this money is going to go to?
So Hope Against Cancer is Leicestershire and Rutland's only cancer research charity, and the money that we raise through events like this and many others that we host and the supporters host mean that we can fund various cancer research projects that take place within the county. In practice, that often means at the Leicester Royal Infirmary we have a trial centre which we have recently expanded, which means that people can receive the very newest and latest treatments for various types of cancer there. And that gives hope to hundreds of families that go through that every day, and I'm lucky enough to meet some of those, and it gives hope to the 1 in 2 of us who will experience cancer at some point in our life as well. So they're looking into new preventions and new treatments into lots of cancers that we wouldn't be able to do, we wouldn't be able to fund, we wouldn't be able to get off the ground if it wasn't for donors and supporters like you. So I just want to say thank you very much for turning up, for buying raffle tickets. There are newsletters on all the tables, so if you want to take away a bit more information about us, then you can take that away with you, look online as to what else is going on and how else you can help us to prevent and treat cancer now and into the future.
Thanks, Jessica. Thank you very much. So, just to remind you, there is the Steve Walsh merch raffle, which tickets are being sold for. There's also a Spot the Ball, which gets you a fully sized Leicester City shirt by all the current squad. So that's both of those were having gone. Now, if there's anybody in the other rooms and they want to come in, do come in now. And I'd like to welcome onto the stage as such a Leicester City legend. Is stepping in for Steve Walsh, but it's not a plan B, it's very much a plan A, I would say. It's our privilege and honour to have Leicester City former captain, League Cup winner, promoted, everything. It's Matt Elliot. So join us as well with some of these questions, and I would like to open it out to the floor very shortly, because me and Sinky can talk to Matt Elliot for like hours, so we want you guys, if you've got any questions, so if you'd like to ask a question, do think of one, and we will come to you very shortly, because it's great to get the fans' questions in to Matt. Yeah. So Matt, thanks so much for stepping in at late notice, it's great to have you here. It's great that we've also got the League Cup here, we will get a photo of you with that. What are your fondest memories out of the two?
Out of the two,
Well, you leave
two memories that I've got. We're going to finish that question. Yeah, we were just talking about it actually. We were reminiscing a little bit. We were cigarettes each other for a little while. And yeah, without doubt, it was my personal highlight. And a lot of us collectively, to be fair, around that time, it was our highlight as a team, as a group. Never mind sort of individual success. It was sort of, well, it turned out to almost be a sort of culmination of our era, if you like, under Martin O'Neill, because obviously not so long afterwards, Martin departed, unfortunately, and that was the beginning of the sort of unravelling a little bit of the club, wasn't it, unfortunately, but we won't go there just now, maybe later on other questions. But yeah, I think all the players that played or were involved in that final, in that period, and the vast majority said that was the highlight of their career as well, not just mine. Yes, I got the goals, and I just want to tell you a little story while I'm there. I got the goals because it was bizarre how everything went so well on my behalf, and it was highlight my career by some distance. You have to say, I got the goals, I got man of the match, and I was captain, lifting the trophy, etc. All that business, it just sort of happened in a flash. So I got the winner in the semi-final against Aston Villa, which people forget, so I'll make sure I remind them that one. Quite enjoyed that one against David James, and got a little story about that, but I'm risk of boring you already. But also, on that day, my youngest son was due to be born that day, so his mum said to me at the time, she's like, what are you going to do? Are you going to play the cup final or come to the birth? She thought I was going to come to the birth. There's no chance of that happening, whatever. I was banking on him hanging in there a little bit, which he did. So, celebrated for about 3 days, won the cup final. 3 days later, the son's born, celebrated another 3 days. How we did, what we did against Sunderland the following weekend, Stan and O'Neill, Stan got the hat-trick, didn't he? I'll never know, because we were drunk as skunks for about 6 days. But we managed to produce a performance. And on top of that, my dad, who's no longer with us, unfortunately, but like most fathers, massive inspiration to me, he put £20 each on first and last goal scorer. He used to do it like a little gamble with the fella, always keep in the game, even if I didn't score the first, score the last. As it happened to score both, we won £600 as well. So it's happy days all round. Yeah, it was a good day.
Just about the second goal against Tranmere before that, just talk us through that, because you had kind of vision there.
Yeah, I won't go quite that far, but it's very dramatic thinker. But yeah, no, I've mentioned it a few times really. Some people think, you're making it up, but it never happened to me before or after. But the second goal scored, got the first, it sort of came out of the blue, and we were favourites to win. And we were a better team, basically. We should have won that more comfortably, that final. We made a bit of a meal of it, didn't we? And I was slightly hopeful for their equaliser. Myself and Jerry, a bit of lack of communication, really. We didn't do one or the other. Maybe Kelly got in. Tim Faust could have done better. He smashed it at the near post. We don't like getting beat at the near post. I thought, well, I'm partly to blame here. Kelly was effectively my man. So I thought I better go and do something about this. Luckily, it worked out that way. Steve Company, reliable as ever, whipped across him. But just as it was coming to me, what Cinco's referring to is, I've actually got pictures of me smiling before I headed it, because I knew exactly what I was going to do, where it was going to go, how it was going to go, and I was thinking about how I'm going to celebrate before I even headed it. Because I'm literally smiling there, and normally, you're bustling and you're challenging for a header, and you're just trying to get it on target most of the time. Sometimes you do get to direct it, but in this instance, it was just there, my eyes lit up. I knew I'd lost Challoner, who was marking me. I knew there was no one at the far stick. I knew I was just going to glance it down. The keeper's nowhere near. This is going to get us back in front. We're going to win a cup. All these emotions just ran through that quickly. And yeah, I've actually got photo evidence of this thing. Well remembered from you, by the way, all those years ago. But yeah, we spoke about it at different times, didn't we? It was, I would say spooky. It was just so clear and vivid. And a wonderful memory to have. Yeah.
Questions from the audience in just a moment. What do you remember about joining the club, and what convinced you to come to Leicester in the first place?
Yeah, that was a bit of a melodrama as well. At the time, I was playing Oxford United, which surprisingly a lot of people remember. You remember the month I signed, which is slightly weird. But January '97, I was playing for Oxford. I was 28 years of age at the time. And the reason it was quite a personal question to say is I think I signed for the same reason a lot of other players did, Martin O'Neill, because of the way he made you feel, how much he made you feel that you could be part of something that was going to be good, something positive, and something different and exciting, and it was all that. But I was threatening to get a move from Oxford for quite a period of time, and I was playing as well as I possibly could for about 6 months. Move didn't happen, and I was just getting to the point where I thought, I'll never even play Premier League, it's not going to happen. And the lads at Oxford were like, no, mate, keep going. They didn't mind me going, they wanted me to get the move, to be honest. And then eventually, as is often the case in football, nothing happened for a while, and suddenly bang, 3 clubs came in. It was Leicester, Southampton, and Crystal Palace. Being quite an excellent, which I used to play for as a kid actually, that had a certain attraction to me. Southampton did as well. Graham Souness was the manager, nice part of the world, established Premier League club, Matt Elliot and all that. And Leicester as well. Equally, I was split between the 3, but I went and seen Graham Souness at Southampton and walked into the manager's office, and he's there on his own, and he said, I won't try to do the accent, okay? He says, afternoon, Matt, nice to see you. I was like, and you, Mr. Souness? And he's like, if I was you, I'd have a think about signing for this shitty club. If I was you, I'd have second thoughts. He did say something different, but I was taking it down a bit. And I was like, why? I was a bit perplexed, really. I thought, I've been a record transfer signing for the club, as I turned out to be for Leicester. Mighty fee of some £1.6 million, it seems tuppence these days, doesn't it? But yeah, he said, well, what sort of club is this? He said, record signing, the chief executive can't be asked to turn up, the chairman can't be bothered to turn up. What sort of club's that? You want to have a think about it. So I was like, right, okay, this is unusual, this is really inspiring me to sign. And he said, you've got anyone else to meet? I said, yeah, I'm going to meet Martin Elliot. Let's leave it, make sure you do that. So I took Pete of his word. He started telling me about the Tuesday Anfield Club back in the day. He had me with Dalglish and Hanson. Nothing about football whatsoever. Turned out to be a good shout, because a week later he left and went to Torino. So he was obviously trying to give me a heads up. But came in the absolute polar opposite. See Martin O'Neill. I met him. Leicester played Ipswich, I think, in a League Cup game, if my memory serves me right. I was coming back from Southampton, and via phone calls, he said, I'll meet you after an evening game against Ipswich at Filbert Street, 11:30, services on the M40. He said, meet me there, 11:30, I'll come down after the game. And he came down with Tom Robinson, Steve Walford, and Tom, it's all right out of my head, Chairman. Speaker, sorry.
That's it.
Yeah, apologies. Thank you for that. Well done. I only 10 seconds before, it just went. You're right about those memories. Tom Speaker came up and sat down, whole entourage, sorted things out. Next day, signed. Thank you very much. And I knew it was the right decision, so it proved to be. It's Matt Martin.
Okay, questions. Just before the questions, you got a bit of a problem with your knees at the moment, haven't you? Are you going to do a bit of
a private joke?
You were playing a football game recently?
Yeah, with Julian actually. Yeah, we got roped in by, I should have known better. It was under the influence of Mickey Allen, ex-Leicester City manager, who now works for a college called Brookhouse College. I did a little bit of work for him as well. And he says, he phoned me up and says, Matty, can you get 4 other lads and yourself to play a little end of season stroke term college game against the college leagues? And they're decent players. Yeah, Mickey, they play good standard. National league in college. He was like, no, these days just play for a bit of fun. You'll be alright against them, you have a bit of support and stuff. But we got there, 19-year-olds there, whippings flying around. We couldn't even get close enough to kick them. It was horrendous. Walshy lasted 7 minutes before his knee fell out. I lasted 32 minutes because I was counting every one of them. The same as Jerry Taggart, and the officially the boots have been nailed up again. So no chance to come back. He's still all right, jockey. He can still go around. Yeah, he's fit as a fiddle. But no, mate, it's caused me to get that problem. I'm struggling to do that anymore, which is really crucial in my life.
Okay, any questions out there?
Yeah, Matt, what actually happened in Lamania?
Oh! Children?
This is live as well. So.
Oh, right, okay. Right, I'll have to just...
PG,
yeah. I'll have to edit the... I'll bring the pleasant bits, the joking side to it, whatever. But, right, yeah, as this is going live, we've got to be double careful, double careful. Let's say it was a huge misunderstanding, that's for sure. It was ridiculous scenario, really. I mean, like most things, it looks worse, a lot worse than it was. In fact, it was one of the marvellous nights out we've been on as a group, believe it or not. It didn't turn out to look that way. But yeah, it was, initially it was actually quite fun, because we were thinking, come on, this is ridiculous. But then, reality sunk in for a few of the lads. Obviously, the three boys, Keith Gillespie, Francis Clare, Paul Dickoff in particular, ended up with a week extra in jail, in the sort of domestic mainstream Spanish jail, which wasn't funny at the time for them, but we knew it was just a load of nonsense that was being levelled at them. But so there was, I'll try and keep this as brief as possible, there was one funny little scenario. We went out on Sunday, I was going to say when things occurred, but they didn't really occur. But on the Tuesday, we were all out on the Chinese together. The different things in the main, it's like a massive complex. There's like restaurants here, and it's not just in one high street, it's like a sporting complex, social complex. So Mickey Evans gets on the phone to Muzi, is it? And he says, Muzi, where are you? And Muzi's like, Muzi and Mickey got on quite well. He says, when the Chinese, mate, it's clear I usually be went, don't effing mate me. Get your asses back. You got the spot on. He said, I've got the Spanish, which is like that, why was something? He said, suffice to say, I've got the Spanish ice squad here, and they want to talk to you. So, again, long story short, we go back, we all have to turn up and function a bit like this, and produce our passports so they can, women, as hesitate to say ladies, who are involved could identify us via our passport photos. So there were 9 of us who were out on the particular night, and 9 of us had to stay behind. So we all put our hands up, Rick Evans walked out, came back in, and he said, right, okay, the 9 who admitted they'd been out, stay here, the others, clear the decks. Please want to interview you 9. So James Scowcroft, who hadn't been out, walked off. As he walked off, Mick Evans says, well, mate, what's going? Where are you going? He says, what are you on about, Gaffer? He said, I didn't even go out. He said, I've nothing to do with it. He went, oh, no. They recognised you. They said, one of the lads who's out has got a big mole on his cheek. That's got to be you. So sit your bum back down. You're going to court, son. He sat down. As that happened, Ian Walker, the penny drop, has also got a little mole on his cheek. He was out, he picked his passport up and walked off and stuck off. His left going to it. The Walks was out and about, not doing anything untoward. Scurry didn't even go out of his room, his bedroom, sat there and played PlayStation all night or something silly. He had some explaining to do to his wife. And he ended up with €30,000 bail for doing nothing, for staying in. And he just kept mentioning on the 2 days we were actually in jail, he was there. The cell had bars from ceiling to floor, and he was just hanging on to the bars, talking to the wardens who couldn't speak a word of English anyway, pleading with them, telling them he didn't even go out until let him go for about 2 days. But he kept us going through it, really, so we were just laughing at Scully. That's fortunate, to be honest. But there's a lot more I could say, but I'm not lying.
Okay, away from that, anybody else?
Owen coming in, actually.
Scotland, did you get called? A cat? I don't know.
Yeah, it's called that one, baby. Yeah, Scotland. 18 caps I ended up with, yeah. 1 goal against the mighty San Marino. Yeah, that came via my... Just talked about it yesterday actually with my sons went out for Father's Day. Talked to someone else who was around. It's weird, my grandmother was Scottish, so via that I was eligible. But even though I play for Scotland now, my sons won't be eligible to play. Not that they play football to that level or whatever, or any other sport really, I don't know. It's weird how it goes. I don't necessarily agree with the ruling that much, but it was an opportunity really that I was given. And I never thought I'd play Premier League football, never mind international football, so it did feel a little bit awkward initially, but I was really well received by everyone up in Scotland until I got sent off against the Faroe Islands, then I got absolutely hammered, hung drawn court by the press. I've gone from that adopted, son of Scotland to Sassaman. Yes. You know what? And so things can change quickly, but no, it's a wonderful experience. I got to be involved. I didn't play, but I got to be involved in the '98 World Cup in France. Scotland played Brazil in the opening game of that tournament in the Stade de France. Was it 90,000 there? Amazing atmosphere. The only downside was I had to wear a kilt on the day. The full regalia. And I went traditional Scottish as well, so you go, bad mistake. Yeah, there was lots of that going on. I could do that then, but that was a bad mistake. It was sweltering hot. But good fun, good times. But I had a checkered career for Scotland, shall we say.
Suitable.
Yeah.
Okay, we got one more question, this gentleman here.
Yeah, Matt, who was physically your toughest opponent?
There is a joke there somewhere, but ex-wives and all that. We won't go there. I keep forgetting. I think physically, playing against some top players, Bergkamp, still get shivers about that one now. Bergkamp, Henry, etc. Shearer, take the pin from that sort of that period. But I think physically the one you had to sort of get yourself up for most in the Premier League, sort of commonly known, would be Dunn Ferguson probably. But I didn't mind going up against, especially when you got Walshy alongside it or tagged or whatever. You got a bit of backup. You could share the load, shall we say. But it was a challenge going up against Ferguson. It was a handful. It was a little bit wild at times, but. Good player as well. It was a good challenge, good test going up against him. But I suppose it's just coming back to me now. Actually, remember a fella, quite a few people here of a certain age might remember him. Well, you'll hear about him one way or another. Anyway, still at Luton now. Nick Harford. Yeah. Nick Harford. It was playing against him when early days. I'd not long been at Leicester, so I was about 28. Was playing. Mick would have been about 36 come to the end of his career, and he was at Wimbledon. Some people probably won't remember. But went down, played at Sellers Park, 2-0 up at half time, and scored both goals. So I'd only played about 7-8 games for Leicester because it's Premier League business. It's always cracked up the league, so easier than I thought. The second half, they've changed things around. You see Nick Harford, he's getting ready to come on. Walshy says to me, watch out for this fella, mate. He's a bit of a handful. So I'll be alright. So he comes on and takes the kick off. He knocks it back all the way back to the left back, Ben Thatcher, who ended up playing for Leicester later on as well. And so I've just moved over into the channel. You know where it's going with Wimbledon. They're going to lump it forward. I'm looking at the ball there. Ben's had a touch out of his feet, put his head down, just sitting there waiting for it. Really. Next thing I know, bang, forearm smashed straight across the side of the face. I'm gone, knocked down on the floor, but I've taken the hit. What's that all about? What are you doing there? Pretending to be brave. And then he comes up and he says, you won't be scoring 2 this half, son, will you? Yeah, right, the horse is coming over. Wait, leave him alone. It's all right. Well, it's all right. The horse gets all protected, isn't it? It's quite funny. I was like, it's all right. So he's grounding that and Nick Harford. So later on, they get a goal, 2-1, and there's about 7-8 minutes to go, something like that. And a long throw, I think Vinnie Jones probably going to throw one in. They're aiming for half an hour. And it's one of them just going over his head. And that's my ball. And I'm thinking, I know what's coming here. I thought, it's worth getting hurt. Like, if I clear his head up, I'll probably win the game. Put me in there, and he's swung the elbow, and it's just gone like, I could hear it go past my face. Luckily, it didn't catch me. If it did, well, it was the ear. But it would have been a hell of a contact. And then I won the headbutt, it's broken up the other end, and Emil's tucked it away. We won 3-1. So I was like, yeah, it's worth the risk sort of thing. As we're walking off afterwards, I'm having to do the celebration, see pleasing myself, and behind me I could hear, I know who that is, but I've got a blanket. He's carrying on walking, I see it, Elliot, and I thought, I can't ignore him anymore. I was like, what's the matter with you? What do you want now? And he went, come here. I was like, I'm thinking, here we go. And he went, please. We'll have a beer afterwards. I was like, no, yeah, fine by me. And since then we went, mate. I've seen him a few times at function. He's a great lad. Great fellas. And yeah, it was a bit of experience though coming up with games. It doesn't happen too much these days. Thankfully so.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Nice gone there. Listen, I think that's been absolutely fantastic. So, Matt Elliot, thank you so much for honestly, a great pleasure to have Matt here with some of those stories. What we've got now is you've got 5 minutes really. If anybody wants to have a go on the raffles, we're going to start totting the things up and announce the winners from those. So I know we're running slightly late, but we'll come back in about 5 minutes and do that. So last chance to have a go on either of those raffles, okay? Thank you.